It's good to be here. This is not a huge crowd, so we can keep this pretty informal. This is a pretty technical presentation, so if you really have a question that's just burning at you, go ahead and shout it out. I don't mind. I can cover anything you really want to go over. So it's going to cover quite a bit of terrain on this. The last time I gave this presentation, I was unprepared, and I had to borrow a belt. I had to borrow a belt because Hanselated. And Hansel's on the left. So I'm with the Transportation Asset Analytics group in NCDOT. So what do? TAA provides technical knowledge for mobile data collection efforts. We provide mobile data collection hardware, act as a depository for mobile data, and provide teams with maps and data analysis of their collected data. You can see these are 14 divisions up here. This is how we divvy up the state to for maintenance and just general division purposes so the hardware we use, currently we're using these motion tablets. We loan these out to the fields, to collection teams throughout the state so they can conduct the mobile data collection efforts. It's a ruggedized Windows PC running Windows 7. They run ArcPad currently, and we're in the process of shifting away from these to a platform that utilizes Windows 10 with a PC tablet hybrid configuration. Future mobile data collection will be far easier because the DOT divisions are rolling out their own mobile data collection platforms. The divisions are actually getting their own hardware, their tablets, PCs. So it requires collector, which we'll go into here a little bit later. We have about a total of 30 of these guys in our office. They're about $3,000 a piece. They weren't cheap. It's unfortunate they've only had about 3 years of life to them. So, but that's technology, I guess. So how we transfer our data, one of our big programs, we utilize Oracle Sync for our maintenance condition assessment program. It's a federally mandated project which measures road and road-related maintenance. It's just tabular data that we store in the Oracle database. It's not a geometric database. We utilize only the motion tablets on this MCAP project. Custom Microsoft Access Sync is used to pull the DBF data from the ArcPad checkout into the Oracle database. The sync process requires the MCAP person to be at an NCDOT facility so they can access the secure DOT network. So you can't do a public sync or from your house or anything. So another way we transfer our data is SharePoint. It's NCDOT FTP. We transfer the AXF files produced by later versions of ArcPad. You're able to share just the tabular and geographic data across the state with SharePoint. The AXF file, it's almost like a GDB, but it's a strange amalgamation of Esri's MUT that they're about to phase out here. So our collector will get us away from this practice is AGOL, or ArcGIS Align is the central hosting point. There are limitations. If utilizing this in AGOL, there is a strict order of operations of using an FTP venue as a backup. The XF file must be uploaded first as the AGOL sync changes the XF status. And I'll get a little bit into that a little further a little bit later. During our non-system roads project, TAA was the largest user of the SharePoint site, and I'll touch on that a little bit later as well. As far as that project goes, the non-system roads was a really big project we completed. So manual check-in process. This is an old one with ArcPad. Requires you have to. It's a cumbersome process, and only the latest edition of ArcPad 10.2 allows AGOL syncing, where you can actually touch the Esri cloud on it. ArcPad requires a manual check-in in lieu of AGOL connectivity. The XF file is either hand-delivered or transferred over an FTP. XF status field is ArcPad's only way of keeping track of what data is new, what's been modified, which data has already been checked in. There's 3 codes on that in the SQL table. One is indicates new, 2 is being modified, and the long number here on the top, this ridiculous number. I don't know why Esri did this, but this indicates a check-in process already. So when we have to go through on the table and make edits, we have to keep these guys in mind. So, yeah, so it pretty much prevents you from making duplicates if you keep an eye on these guys. Last but not least, and this is kind of where we're heading in general, is the what we refer to as the Go NC, but it's actually ArcGIS Align. This is kind of our stamp, our DOT stamp on what we refer to this program as. AGOL is Esri's cloud storage. We can access it 3 different ways. ArcPad 10.2, which can transfer tabular and geometric data. ArcCollector, which will transfer tabular and geometric data along with picture or video attachments. And then there's the Esri web interface, and you can see the differences here. This is actually the web interface for Collector here. This is the web map portion. I'm sorry. This is the salt storage project. This is the Collector databases here. This is the access point where you can download the different projects onto the tablet. All right. So software we use, ArcPad is our tried and trusted apps, one of our tried and trusted apps, but its use is winding down in the near future. We've heard rumors that Esri is actually going to end support on it in the next couple years. So customization of this program makes it a little bit more complicated to use on the back end, but it has particular benefits to it. In ArcPad, in addition to aerial imagery, we also load an Esri map layer and load NCDOT road line work. And this here is the ArcPad view right here. This is a form that you open up in ArcPad, and you can actually edit this, customize it, space it out however you see fit. It's pretty nice. And this here is this is Collector, and this is pretty much what you're stuck with. This preloaded top to bottom view here on your field edits. So lots of customization in ArcPad, none in Collector yet. So going into that a little bit with the ArcPad, here's a customizable control that ArcPad offers that Collector doesn't. You get into ArcPad Studio, which is up here, which allows you to do some pretty neat stuff. You can lock fields out depending on previous choices. So for example, if you've got, let's say one of our projects is salt storage, and let's say it's does it have a dome to it, the salt storage unit? And if the answer is no at the top of that, and the subsequent fields are related to the dome, you can actually lock those fields out with some VB scripting, which again Collector doesn't offer yet, and it's pretty nice. It prevents fat fingers in terms of the user. Let's see here. You can see the VB scripting here. It's pretty messy. It's an old language, Microsoft language, I think from the 80s. You can also run post-validation VB scripts to check for operator error. Here's our Collector. It's AGOL offers a uniform system of data syncing that doesn't require anyone with a device with ArcCollector to step foot in our office, which is really nice. The data tends to be pretty big when you roll these guys out. Every scheme uploaded from the office is immediately available to anyone with permissions to our data. The imagery is a little bit of a challenge, though. It's very large, and an FTP transfer out into the divisions it's difficult due to the size of the files. But if our data is published to the general public, we're required to utilize the imagery in lieu of expensive mapping grade GPS units. Big advantage with ArcCollector is that the public syncing is available. With an Oracle sync, you'd have to be at an NCDOT facility to run the sync program. Collector also allows customizable downloads of areas of interest with Esri-hosted imagery and layers with selectable details. So you can go into, 3-foot detail or 12-foot or however you see fit. All right. So a little bit more about Collector. It only uses tile pack data at this point. You can see some of Wake County in the imagery here on the slide. So this is our office off of Barrel Road. This is where TAA is. That's the totality of Wake County. So limitations and obstacles we deal with. Recreational GPS units don't meet our own standards. 3 feet of accuracy is required for publicly available data. Mapping grade GPS units cost around $6,000. CGI imagery, shout out Donald. Well, your photogrammetry, but you get it from CGI, I guess. It's a workaround, but the data is very large. One division is around 40 gigs, even with the 20-to-1 compression rate on the SID files. Tile packs are about 4 times that size of the SID files, but because Collector uses tile packs and has no compression, the program moves pretty slowly. And you can see that, I don't know if it's going to show the sizes or not. This looked pretty good on my TV last night when I brought it up, but we'll see. So this is ArcPad here. This is the ArcPad interface with our imagery on it. That's Esri's map. It's called Streets. These are some of the SID files on the ArcMap. So Arc Collector and tile pack imagery. SID imagery, which works on ArcPad, as I said before, is a 20-to-1 compression rate, which offers a lot of imagery at a decent storage size, but you can't use the SID imagery on Collector yet. The generate tile function wouldn't work for us at first. It was supposed to be a one-stop function, but we actually had to go through 2 functions to make to transfer into the tile packs. It took a lot of processing. One county can take maybe a half a day, upwards to 3/4 of a day to transfer into the tile packs. We have to utilize several large external hard drives to house the SID and the tile pack imagery in our office. On the bottom of the slide, you can see the size differences in the tile packs and SID imagery. And here is the SID files, about 3.3 gigs with the 20-to-1 compression rate. And then when you roll it out into the tile packs, same files, about 12. So the ArcPad the ArcPad with AFX versioning. This is what kind of keeps us out of trouble with duplicates. ArcPad keeps track of check-ins and check-outs with a hidden field called AXF status. This code indicates if the check-in data is new, modified, or has already been checked in. If you're just copying your data off of a tablet or PC and not checking the data in and back out, you have to be careful because you can easily duplicate records. ArcPad Studio allows you to go in and view and change some hidden table data to examine the AXF status further. It's in an SQL format, and we went over that a little earlier. 1 is new data, 2 is modified, and that crazy 167 number indicates it's already been checked in. So ArcPad won't let you check it back in to ArcMap if it sees that in the table. In the event of a duplicate, the GUID number helps us identify an identical check-in. For those of you maybe who aren't data people, that's a GUID number. It's statistically impossible to replicate. And ArcMap produces it for us. So with some problems we ran into with ArcPad 10.2, when TAA looked to upgrade to ArcPad 10.2 initially, we realized the sync process relating to the pictures had real limitations. The tabular data is exportable through an onboard ArcPad AGOL sync. However, the picture uploads process was cumbersome, requiring manual downloads from a USB drive onto a local location or an FTP transfer. So we got around this with the picture separating from the data through an ARC process just called attachment. You can basically just point in the direction of where the pictures are located, what the name is, and on the asset in the table, and it reunites the data. You can also upload that to AGOL. It requires a higher license, though, of ArcMap. You have to have something above basic to make that work. So some of the projects we've worked on: MCAP, asphalt emulsion storage, roadway review, small pipe, non-system roads, salt storage, chip seal, and outdoor advertising. Maintenance condition assessment program. This is one of our really big ones. This happens year-round. It's a quarterly assessment in which NCDOT collects real-time maintenance conditions of various assets. Field times utilize the motion tablets to inspect predefined 10th mile sections of road, which Faith Johnson produces for me over here. So once inspected, the assessment teams sync the predefined sections to a central NCDOT Oracle server from the NCDOT facilities. Again, it's a protected network, so you have to be on site at a DOT facility to make this work. The NCDOT uses this data to create work plans, prioritize needs, and allocate funding. We're able to track the progress through each quarter, either through an SQL query program or through our custom sync program, as you can see on the bottom slides. So this is what Access produces here, and I know it's not showing up too good. It's just basically the percentage they've got completed on each county, and this is one of the SQL query programs here. It allows us to track progress. And this big thing here, this is the quarterly data at the beginning. It looks like chicken pox. So these guys go out, they hit these sites, they turn green. So by the end of the quarter, these are all green. This is a picture of our custom Microsoft Access sync tool. It enables our field guys to sync as well as check in on their progress. The QA teams will use the state report button, and the individual division teams will utilize the division report. The sync program reads and writes from a DBF file, an older tabular shape file format. So salt storage. Salt storage project is a biannual data collection project where the NCDOT assesses the salt storage capacity and condition of salt storage units. This is the first project where we uploaded data to ArcGIS for in-house viewing. And there's the entirety of the salt storage around North Carolina. This is through Collector, the internet view on it, or the map view. And then this is the form that does the salt storage. And you can see, I talked earlier about locking these guys off. So the dome, there should be a dome one on here. For example, the VB script allows you to say if this says no, the two subsequent fields are blocked off. The person that's entering can't get into them. Prevents a lot of fat fingering. Salt storage project was the first use of ArcGIS to internally house TAA data with picture attachments as well. Starting this year, we hope to expand the use of ArcGIS into all future projects. On the top, there's a picture tied to the ArcGIS tabular and geographic data. So if you go into ArcGIS on this guy, you can click on the picture, and it brings this salt storage up. So Asphalt emulsion storage, it required a picture attachment process just like salt storage, which required an operation through ArcMap. Same team that collected the asphalt emulsion did the salt storage project. Generally the same sites as the salt storage, and as they occupy the same maintenance yards. It required a much longer form, a schemata form. This form on the top right really illustrates the capacities or capabilities of the ArcPad with the customizable forms. ArcCollector just doesn't have the customization that ArcPad does, offering not only drop-down menus, but checkboxes. I hope that shows up pretty well, but you can see the checkboxes here. So roadway review. NCDOT conducted a joint research project with NC State's ITRI, Institute for Transportation Research and Education. Pavement took IRI measurements, or International Roughness Indication. TAA field team surveyed the road with ArcPad to assess the road conditions and rode along with members of the public to conduct an average person's report on the roads. This project was to ensure the NCDOT's assessment is contrasted with a much more qualitative public perception. This project was actually pretty similar to the MCAP program in terms of what data was recorded and contrasted. So this is our non-MBS pipes, or as we call it in our office, small pipe is a nickname. We collect all the pipes above 54 inches. Small pipes are non-MBIS assets that are larger than 54 inches in diameter, more than 20 feet in length. This project acted as a springboard for future data collection projects. It was more or less on this project where we discovered the power and capability of Collector. More and more divisions are expressing interest in this project, as repairs and replacements on these assets can be quite expensive. It's far cheaper to repair wear and tear than when it's just beginning. So a little bit more of MBIS, non-MBIS. We had some records to go off of for this small pipe project. The counties kept paper maps that we were able to georeference into a digital system. We intersected hydro layers with NCDOT assets and converted those into points, and it gave the field teams a pretty good place to start when they went out and looked for these guys. You can see the redlining map here on this part. This is the documentation they had before on where these assets were. This project was inventoried and did a soft assessment for non-MBIS assets which before hadn't existed on this level of technology or on this in the cloud. And so the non-system roads, We utilized 3 contract firms and our MCAT teams. This project was aimed to evaluate all non-NCDOT roads for budgetary analysis by the state legislature. We had to use IT laptops for this project, in addition to the motion tablets, because the scope of the project required just that many teams and that many PCs and motion tablets. It was our largest project to date, costing over $6 million, and it wasn't funded. Well, especially funded, I guess. The aim was to determine the cost of incorporating non-system roads into the NCDOT system. We had some graphics card scale issues. We had to limit the scale of the assets, which would draw at, and there were so many of them, assets on the ArcPad, that it was kind of shorting the graphics card out. This caused us slight panic. Our field teams were calling in saying they couldn't see the stuff they were supposed to assess, but we scaled down what it would draw at, and it resolved it. So, chip seal. This project focused around auditing work done outside of the NCDOT as it transitions towards more private contracting. This is a different type of project where all the features are created in the field office and verified in the field. Future project plans will incorporate pavement unit data into the system as well. And that's all I've got, guys. So, how are we time-wise? If anybody have any questions? Yep, I'll be around. All right, thank you.